Before we begin, I want to give a massive thanks to Jesse Fry, the first Dreadnought tier patron on the new and improved EckhartsLadder Patreon. Can I get a thanks, Jesse, down in the comments? If you guys want to get extra content on the channel alongside a bunch of other goodies, consider checking out patreon.com/EckhartsLadder. With that being said, though, let's roll the intro. Hey guys, this is EckhartsLadder. Hello and welcome to another video. And today's is a fun one because we're tackling another Star Wars what if and theorizing about what would have happened had something major changed in the Star Wars universe. The what if today is, what if Mace Windu had defeated Palpatine during Revenge of the Sith in their one and only duel? What would have happened to the Republic, to the Jedi, and more? Everything up until the point of the duel will be the exact same. The main change will be that Anakin will not be present to save Palpatine at the last moment. And before you jump in and say, well, Palpatine was just putting on a show for Anakin, he wasn't actually too weak. Maybe that's true, but given the fact that we're working off a theory of Windu winning, I don't think it really matters. So we'll look at what would have happened to the Jedi, to the Republic, and more, and I will do some theorizing, almost like some fan fiction. However, the interesting part about this video is I'm going to be tying basically everything I predict to actual lore and actual text within Revenge of the Sith, its novel, and other expanded universe sources. So I want to give a lot of background to as I talk, but I'll also paint a bigger picture of what the state of the universe will look like at the end of everything. Alright, so Palpatine is killed, Mace Windu is standing in the window with the Chancellor's body in front of him. What's his next move? Well, the really interesting thing is that despite Palpatine being dead, Mace Windu and the rest of the Jedi will still be facing the enormity of his plans. Palpatine's genius was the way he manipulated half-truths and gaslit, and basically twisted the narrative to his own desire. One of Palpatine's greatest accomplishments during the Clone Wars was the way he changed attitudes towards the Jedi, both within the Senate and among his close friends, but also across the Republic. Palpatine in the late days of the Republic had been painting the Jedi as power-hungry and looking to take control over the Republic, and his lies were effective because there was a kernel of truth within them that he manipulated in his own ways. And this is important. I need to explain this for the theorizing, so I really want you guys to understand. The crazy thing is, the Jedi were considering a coup against the Republic. They were considering taking control of basically everything. That fact alone will work against them because it plays right into Palpatine's plans. What am I talking about? Well, we get this scene in the movie, but it's greatly expanded in the novelization. After Palpatine is asserting more direct control over the Jedi Council through the appointment of Anakin as a permanent member and more, the Jedi think they're about to take a fatal blow, as is the Republic. Not by Palpatine himself, but by a Sith Lord that they believe may be within Palpatine's inner circle and is manipulating the goings-on of the entire Clone Wars. We know what the Jedi Council's moves would have been if Palpatine or anyone else moved against them. And here's a quote. Palpatine may be about to do what the Separatists cannot, bring down the Republic. If he tries, he must be removed from office. In a later conversation, the Jedi Council together recognizes that removing Palpatine will not be the first step. Yoda himself says that the Jedi will essentially need to cleanse the Senate. And this is incredibly shocking. This is the line from Revenge of the Sith, the novelization. Controlled they must be, until replaced the corrupted senators can be, with senators honest. And at that point, the quote is cut off by Mace Windu, who basically is just wondering how the Republic has fallen to this point. The point is that the Jedi are disturbed by the fact that Palpatine's reign could have even gotten to this point, that it was legitimized and legalized. I think they'll be even more disturbed if it turns out that Palpatine was a Sith Lord and that they'll immediately move against the Senate and the Supreme Court. The problem, as I said, is that this plays exactly into Palpatine's plans. He'd been pointing out that the Jedi were looking for more and more power, and now they're set to take basically total dictatorship within the Republic. So a lot of people will immediately be against that idea, and the Jedi will certainly have their work cut out for them, but I do believe that that will be their plan. Making things more difficult for the Jedi is the fact that most of the galaxy doesn't really understand the Sith. This is something else we get from the novelization. To a lot of people, if not the vast majority of people within the galaxy, if they know of the Sith at all, they would basically just understand them as another type of religion. They don't realize that the Jedi and the Sith are both sort of representatives of the light side and the dark side, and thus good and evil. They basically see them as another group of monks operating within the galaxy, and definitely a bit of a boogeyman given the fact that the Sith have been gone for 1,000 years. So saying that Palpatine was a Sith Lord is something that will go over the heads of a lot of people within the Republic, and then a lot of people will also just not care. So what if he's a Sith? He's allowed to practice whatever religion he wants. That's something that's touched on in the novelization. Being a Sith isn't strictly illegal under Republic law, so whatever. Palpatine was also extraordinarily well-liked, probably the most well-liked man in the entire galaxy. People are crying in their homes as he's captured during the Battle of Coruscant. He's seen as the one man sacrificing it all to hold the Republic together. So these Jedi which sit in their ivory towers come and assassinate him for believing something else. Well, that's not really a good look, especially where there is no evidence of him doing anything beyond that. What evidence does exist? Well, a doctored tape from Palpatine's office, one that becomes even more effective if Palpatine is killed. You can read the entire tape within the novelization, but basically, before turning the tape off, Palpatine is collecting evidence for the Senate and is really manipulating Mace Windu at this point. He frames it as being arrested on a bogus charge. Mace says, "We're not here to argue with me." Palpatine says, "No, you're here to imprison me without trial, without even the pretense of legality. The Jedi are taking over the Republic." Mace says, "Come with us now." Palpatine says, "I shall do no such thing. If you intend to murder me, you can do so here. How could I possibly resist? This is murder, you Jedi traitors. How could I be any threat to you?" He's saying that, by the way, as he's murdering the other Jedi. He's basically turning the recorder on and off, and I think this entire plan is actually far more successful if he's killed in battle, because Palpatine surviving was always one thing that was a bit iffy, like how does this man survive an intended Jedi assassination? But with just Mace Windu around, who is arguably on the low end of the likability scale for Jedi, then you can paint this 100 different ways. It's far more likely, for example, that Mace Windu kills the other two Jedi and Palpatine as a sort of cover-up than some feeble old man almost surviving a Jedi assassination. So with all of that context, what I think that happens is that the Jedi defeat Palpatine. They attempt to assert control over the Senate and the Supreme Court and other institutions of democracy, and ultimately, I think that they are unsuccessful. Yoda recognizes that the public has already lost faith in the Jedi. Mace Windu, being the one to emerge from Palpatine's office, has a really bad look. I mean, we know how Mace Windu is. The Jedi have been set up perfectly to look like they're trying to effect a coup, and although the Jedi are powerful, they've been weakened by the Clone Wars, and there are trillions upon trillions upon trillions of beings within the galaxy. Now, I don't think the Jedi will be wiped out in the way that they were during Order 66. There will be no instantaneous switch across the galaxy, which changes the control of clone troopers, but I do think eventually resistance to the Jedi will become too much, whether that's armed or within whatever remains of the Senate, and the Jedi will become enemies of the Republic as they were under Palpatine. And again, that's the genius of Palpatine's plan. He manipulated everything so well and painted the Jedi as traitors before he even stood on that Senate podium that it's basically a win for him no matter what. I actually think Anakin would be an interesting character if he's still alive in this scenario. I don't know where he would come down though. He may support the Jedi because in this situation, I think Padme probably lives, but he may also go mad with grief and sort of serve as a figurehead for the anti-Jedi establishment movement. Either way, I think the Jedi is expelled from Coruscant, they're expelled from the Republic as a whole, and are forced to reestablish themselves somewhere else. I think the Republic in this situation may actually be able to recover. I don't think there will be a figurehead necessarily to charismatically affect their transformation into an empire. There will be people looking for power, for sure, but I think the Republic continues to survive, and and this is one of their worst scandals, but not a fatal one. At this point, Dooku and Grievous are also dead. The CIS is losing the Clone Wars, so I do think the Republic wins. My biggest question is, what happens to the Jedi down the line? Interestingly, this will still be a fairly bad loss for the Jedi because they will completely have lost public trust, but I do think with more Masters still alive, that they will be able to sort of gain back the galaxy's love through acts of good and standing up against evil. Although without some big evil figurehead they can top like the Emperor, it may take them longer to get back in the Republic's good graces. I don't think they'd be hunted down to extinction though, unless Anakin really ends up going crazy because Padme still dies, but I don't think that's very likely. That's just my opinion though. That's what I think would happen had Palpatine fall into Mace Windu. That's just my opinion though. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Until next time though, this has been EckhartsLadder. Be safe, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.